Welcome. Allow yourself to settle in wherever you are right now. Let your body sink deeper into comfort as we begin our gentle. If these gentle journeys bring you peace, consider leaving a kind word, sharing this moment with another, or joining our growing flock of quiet dreamers. Comment your favorite animal and I might include it in the next video. Let us begin with where hedgehogs come from, their ancient homes across our world. Hedgehogs are small mammals, gentle creatures that have made their homes across Europe, Asia, and Africa. Picture these three vast continents, and across them, 17 recognized species of hedgehogs, each unique, each perfectly adapted to their environment. These 17 species are organized into 5 genera, 5 family groups, if you will. Just breathe with that image for a moment. From the shores of Britain to the forests of Asia, from the Mediterranean coasts to African plains, hedgehogs have quietly existed, going about their nocturnal lives while the world turns above them. Now, let us explore something rather charming. The very name hedgehog. Where did such a curious name come from? The answer lies in 2 simple observations. First, their snouts. Those sweet, pointed snouts that resemble, ever so slightly, the snout of a pig. And second, their behavior. Their delightful habit of rooting through hedges, snuffling and searching for insects in the undergrowth. Hedge and hog, a pig of the hedges. Can you picture it now? A small creature, nosing through the bottom of a garden hedge on a quiet summer evening, searching for beetles and grubs. This is how our ancestors named them, with simple observation and rural poetry. Let that gentle image rest in your mind. You're doing beautifully. Your willingness to be here, to learn, to let your mind wander through these peaceful facts. It speaks to your curious and open spirit. Let yourself relax even more deeply now. If you were to see a hedgehog, you might be surprised by their size, or perhaps by how small they truly are. Adult hedgehogs measure somewhere between 14 and 30 centimeters long. That's roughly the length of a ruler, give or take. Imagine holding that length in your hands. They weigh up to 1.1 or sometimes 2 kilograms, about the weight of a small bag of flour, warm and alive in your palms. Their tails are short, very short, just 1 to 6 centimeters, barely noticeable beneath their spines. And their legs, those sturdy little legs that carry them through gardens and woodland floors, measure around 10 centimeters. Picture these proportions coming together. A small, compact creature, low to the ground, perfectly designed for their life of foraging and exploration. Now we come to the hedgehog's most famous feature, those remarkable spines that cover their backs and sides. Each hedgehog carries between 5,000 and 7,000 spines upon their body. 5,000 to 7,000. Let that number settle in your mind. Imagine each one. A tiny spike, a perfect defense. And what are these spines made of? Keratin, the very same material that forms your hair, your fingernails. In this way, you and the hedgehog are connected, made of the same fundamental substance, just shaped differently by nature's hand. These spines are not barbed like some quills in nature. They are not poisonous like a porcupine's defense. They are simply sharp, simply present, simply enough. The hedgehog needs nothing more than this simplicity and protection. Feel how calm you're becoming, how easily this knowledge flows over you like a gentle stream. Your breathing has slowed, your muscles have softened. You are exactly where you need to be, learning at your own peaceful pace. Nature sometimes creates the most beautiful variations, and hedgehogs are no exception. On the Channel Island of Alderney, there exists a population of blonde hedgehogs. Yes, blonde. Their spines are pale, lighter than their cousins elsewhere, a natural variation that arose on this small island. Imagine them, cream-colored spines catching the moonlight as they move through island grasses. These blonde hedgehogs are not albinos, but simply a color variation, another expression of nature's endless creativity. They remind us that even within a species, there is room for difference, for uniqueness, for unexpected beauty. Let us turn our attention now to the hedgehog's eyes, those small, dark eyes that peek out from beneath their spines. Hedgehogs have rather poor eyesight overall, it must be said. The world to them is not sharp and clear as it might be to you or me. But nature, in her wisdom, has given them a gift for the darkness in which they live. Inside their eyes is a layer called the tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer that catches available light and bounces it back through the eye, giving the hedgehog a second chance to absorb that light. This enhances their vision in low-light conditions, in the dusk and dawn, in the shadowed spaces beneath bushes where they hunt. If you were to shine a light at a hedgehog at night, you might see their eyes gleaming back at you, that reflection of the tapetum lucidum at work. They see the world in their own way, perfectly suited to their needs. You are such a dedicated listener. The care you're taking to absorb these gentle facts shows your patient and thoughtful nature. Let your eyelids grow heavier now if they wish. There is no need to fight it. Inside that pointed snout, the hedgehog carries 36 to 44 teeth. Quite a range, quite a mouthful for such a small creature. These teeth are suited to their diet, pointed, ready to crunch through the hard shells of beetles, to grip wriggling prey. But here is something interesting. Unlike rodents, whose incisors grow continuously throughout their lives, requiring constant gnawing to keep them short, the hedgehog's incisors do not grow this way. They do not need to gnaw continuously. Their teeth are simply there, doing their work, not requiring endless maintenance. Another small perfection in design. Behind that same snout, within those nasal passages you cannot see, lies a remarkable structure. The hedgehog's nasal passages feature complex turbinates, scroll-like bones covered in tissue that fold and curve within the nose. These turbinates serve two purposes, both elegant in their efficiency. First, They warm the air as the hedgehog breathes in, protecting the delicate lungs from cold night air. And second, they trap scent particles, catching them, holding them, allowing the hedgehog's brain to process the rich tapestry of smells that guide their world. For the hedgehog, smell is everything. These turbinates are the tools that make their primary sense so sharp, so reliable. Your mind is becoming quieter now, more peaceful. You are drifting along on these words like a leaf on a gentle river. This is perfect. You are doing perfectly. Let us return once more to those spines, for there is more to know. Those thousands of quills that cover the hedgehog's back. They lack nerves. Think about that for a moment. You can poke a hedgehog's spine, and the spine itself feels nothing. No pain signals travel through the spine, and yet the hedgehog responds, doesn't it? This is because the act of touching the spine triggers something else, a reflexive tightening of muscles at the base of the spine. The hedgehog feels the movement, the pressure against their skin, and their muscles respond automatically, pulling the spines tighter, more erect, more defensive. It is not the spine that feels, but the creature beneath, protecting itself with ancient, automatic wisdom. And finally, for this segment, one more small marvel of design. The hedgehog's spines do not stand straight up naturally. No, they tilt backward at 45-degree angles. Picture this, each spine angled backward, creating a streamlined surface. This allows the hedgehog to move forward through undergrowth, through thick grasses and tangled brush, without their spines catching on everything they pass. They can move smoothly in one direction, the spines parting vegetation rather than snagging it. Only when threatened do the spines rise up, muscles pulling them erect into a full defensive posture. But in rest, in movement, they lie at that perfect 45-degree angle, nature's geometry in action. Breathe deeply now. You have learned so much already, and your mind has remained open and receptive. What a gift you are giving yourself, this time of peaceful learning and rest. We have learned that hedgehogs are found across 3 continents, 17 species in 5 genera, named for their pig-like snouts and hedge-dwelling habits. We have seen them in our mind's eye. Small creatures, 14 to 30 centimeters long, covered in 5,000 to 7,000 keratin spines that are neither barbed nor poisonous. We have met the blonde hedgehogs of Alderney, a pale variation in an island home. We have understood their eyes, reflective and adapted for darkness, and their teeth, numerous but not ever-growing. We have explored their nasal turbinates, warming air and capturing scent. We have learned that their spines feel nothing, yet trigger protective responses, and that these spines tilt backward at 45 degrees, allowing smooth movement through their world. The hedgehog is a creature of small perfections, of elegant solutions, of quiet existence. And now you carry this knowledge with you into rest. Breathe slowly. Let your body be heavy, and when you are ready, simply let go. The hedgehog is a creature of the night. Primarily nocturnal, they emerge as the sun sets and the world grows quiet. While you sleep in your bed, hedgehogs are just beginning their evening, stirring from their day nests, stretching those short legs, preparing for the hours ahead. Their eyesight, as we have learned, is poor. The world to them is not a place of clear images and sharp details. But nature does not leave them wanting. What they lack in vision, they gain in other ways. Their sense of smell, extraordinary. Their hearing, remarkable. These two senses guide them through the darkness, help them detect the movement of insects beneath the soil, the subtle scratching of a beetle under leaf litter, the presence of food they cannot see but know is there. Imagine navigating your world not with your eyes, but with your nose and ears. Every scent a signpost, every sound a story. This reliance on senses other than sight shapes their behavior in interesting ways. Hedgehogs naturally avoid eye contact, not out of shyness, not out of fear exactly, but simply because looking at something does them little good. Their eyes do not bring them useful information. Instead, they focus on scents, on the chemical signatures floating on the air, landing on their sensitive noses. They focus on sounds, the tiny vibrations that travel through the ground and air to their ears. This is how they navigate, how they understand where they are and what surrounds them. To a hedgehog, the world is a tapestry of smells and sounds, not sights. Eye contact is simply irrelevant to their experience of reality. You are absorbing this so wonderfully, dear listener. Your ability to picture a world so different from your own shows your expansive imagination and gentle empathy. Let yourself sink deeper into comfort now, deeper into the softness that surrounds you. Despite their poor vision, hedgehogs possess a remarkable ability, one that keeps them safe in a dangerous world. They excel at detecting motion, even when curled into a tight ball, even with their eyes covered by their own body. Even in near darkness, they sense movement around them. A shadow passing, a footstep nearby, the approach of something unknown. This motion detection is their early warning system, their first line of defense. And their response is immediate, the raising of quills. Those thousands of spines that normally lie at their 45-degree angle suddenly stand more erect. A bristling armor, a clear message. I am here, I am aware, do not come closer. This ability to detect motion persists even in the most challenging conditions. Low light means nothing to this sense. Being curled into a defensive ball does not diminish it. Somehow, through vibrations in the air or ground, through the subtle changes in their environment that we might never notice, the hedgehog knows when something moves near them. And their quills rise in response, an automatic defense triggered before the hedgehog even consciously decides to react. It is instinct, pure and ancient, keeping them alive night after night. In this way, they rest a little safer, always alert even in stillness, always ready. Feel how relaxed you have become, how your breathing has found its own slow rhythm. You are doing beautifully. There is such peace in simply listening, simply being. Let that peace fill you now. Each night, when the hedgehog emerges, they embark on a journey. These small creatures, so compact and low to the ground, travel remarkable distances in their search for food. In a single night, a hedgehog may travel 1 to 2 miles, sometimes even further, up to 3 or 4 kilometers across their habitat. Picture that journey, the hedgehog leaving their nest as darkness falls, setting off across gardens, through hedgerows, across parks and woodlands, constantly searching, constantly sniffing, constantly listening for the next meal. Mile after mile or kilometer after kilometer, those short legs carry them through their territory. And while they usually move at a steady, methodical pace, hedgehogs are capable of surprising speed when needed. In short bursts, they can sprint at speeds up to 9.5 kilometers per hour. That may not sound fast compared to other animals or to a human running, but for a creature only 15 or 20 centimeters long, with legs just 10 centimeters high, it is quite impressive. Imagine a hedgehog in full sprint, quills flattened back, legs churning, perhaps fleeing danger or rushing toward a particularly enticing smell. For a moment, they are not slow and ambling, but swift and determined, moving through their world with unexpected urgency. Your mind is becoming quieter, dear listener. Thoughts are drifting away like clouds across a calm sky. You are present here in this moment, learning these gentle truths about hedgehogs and letting everything else go. This is exactly right. Hedgehogs do not simply wander randomly through the night. They are purposeful, strategic, adaptive. When food is plentiful, they may travel well-worn paths, visiting known locations. But when food becomes scarce, when the insects are harder to find or the season changes, hedgehogs adjust. They dynamically change their foraging paths in response to scarcity, showing a high level of environmental adaptability. They might explore new areas, venture into territories they had previously avoided, search more widely or more carefully. They read their environment and respond to it, changing their behavior to match their needs. This flexibility, this ability to adapt, has allowed hedgehogs to survive in varied habitats across 3 continents, through changing seasons, through times of plenty and times of want. Part of this adaptability comes from memory. Hedgehogs possess spatial memory, the ability to remember where they have been and what they found there. After just a few visits to a garden, a hedgehog will memorize its layout. They will remember where the gap in the fence is, where the compost heap sits, where food appeared before. They create mental maps of their territories, and they use these maps to return to reliable food sources night after night. If you leave food out for a hedgehog in your garden, they will likely return, not by accident but by memory. They remember you, or rather, they remember the place where food appears, and they navigate back to it with purpose. This is not random wandering. This is intelligence, quiet and practical, serving the needs of survival. You are such a thoughtful listener. The patience you bring to this moment, the openness of your tired mind, is a gift to yourself. Let your body be heavier now. Let your muscles release any remaining tension. You are safe, you are learning, you are drifting toward rest. In captivity, where hedgehogs are sometimes kept as pets, their need to travel remains strong. Without the space of the wild, without gardens and hedgerows to explore, they still carry that instinct to roam. Pet hedgehogs, when given exercise wheels in their enclosures, will run and run and run. Some have been observed running up to 10 kilometers in a single night on their wheels. 10 kilometers, the same distance they might travel in the wild, now traveled in circles in place, driven by that deep need to move, to search, to fulfill the patterns written into their bodies over millions of years. It is both touching and a reminder. Even in safety, even in captivity, the wild instinct persists. The hedgehog on a wheel is still, in their mind, ranging across fields and gardens, searching for the next meal, living their nocturnal life. The modern world presents hedgehogs with new challenges, particularly in urban and suburban settings. Roads cut through their territories. Fences block traditional paths. Gardens are isolated from one another. And hedgehogs, especially males, respond to these barriers in interesting ways. Urban male hedgehogs have been found to expand their home ranges, traveling even further than their rural cousins in search of food and mates. They move faster, too, perhaps racing across roads to minimize danger, perhaps simply adapting to a landscape where resources are more scattered and harder to reach. These urban hedgehogs are navigators of a changed world, making their ancient patterns work in modern environments, finding ways to survive among houses and cars and human infrastructure. Breathe slowly now, in and out, in and out. You have traveled far with these hedgehogs tonight, across miles of imagined landscapes, through darkness and adaptation. Your mind has been so receptive, so wonderfully open. Let yourself rest in what you have learned. We have discovered that hedgehogs are creatures of the night, guided not by sight but by smell and hearing, navigating a world of scents and sounds. We have learned that they avoid eye contact, finding no use for it in their sensory experience. We have understood their remarkable motion detection, how even curled in a ball or in darkness they sense nearby movement and raise their quills in defense. We have walked with them on their nightly journeys, 1 to 4 kilometers traveled in search of food, with surprising bursts of speed up to 9.5 kilometers per hour when needed. We have seen their adaptability, how they adjust foraging paths when food is scarce, and their intelligence, how they memorize garden layouts and return to reliable food sources through spatial memory. We have glimpsed pet hedgehogs running endless kilometers on wheels, fulfilling deep instincts even in captivity. And we have met the urban hedgehogs, the males who expand their ranges and move faster through human-altered landscapes, adapting to a world of roads and fence. The hedgehog roams, remembers, adapts, and persists. Through darkness and change, they continue their ancient patterns, small travelers in a vast world. Let your eyes close if they haven't already. Let the hedgehog's journey become your journey into sleep. You are drifting now, peacefully, gently, sappful. Rest now, dear listener. Simply res. And so we continue, drifting deeper into the world of the hedgehog, deeper into rest. Your breathing has slowed, your body has settled. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do but listen and let these words carry you gently forward. Let us now explore how the hedgehog nourishes itself, how it finds sustenance in the darkness. Hedgehogs are omnivores, which means they can eat both plant and animal matter. But in truth, they are mostly insectivores, eaters of insects. This is their primary diet, their main source of energy. Through the night, as they travel those miles we spoke of earlier, they are searching for beetles, worms, slugs, and snails. These small invertebrates make up the bulk of what a hedgehog consumes. Picture the hedgehog nosing through leaf litter, beneath bushes, across garden soil, constantly searching for that next beetle, that next earthworm. Occasionally, they will eat fruit if they come across it, fallen apples or berries softening on the ground. Sometimes they will take eggs from a ground nest or feed on carrion, the flesh of something already dead. But these are supplements, extras. The core of their diet is simpler, the insects and worms that live in the soil and vegetation of their territories. Finding these small creatures in darkness is a skill the hedgehog has perfected over millennia. Consider the earthworm, hidden beneath the surface of the soil, invisible to the eye. How does a hedgehog, with poor vision, in the dark of night, locate something it cannot see? The answer is remarkable. Hedgehogs detect earthworms underground through subtle vibrations. Before scent reaches them, before any sound, they feel the tiny movements of a worm shifting through soil. The earth trembles, ever so slightly, and the hedgehog knows. Prey is below. They pause, they focus, and then they dig or grab, pulling the earthworm from its tunnel. It is a sense so refined, so sensitive, that it seems almost like magic. But it is simply biology, evolution's gift, the hedgehog's body tuned to frequencies we cannot imagine. You are doing so well. Your willingness to explore these details, these small wonders of nature, shows your curious and patient spirit. Feel yourself sinking deeper now, your mind growing quieter, your body heavier and more relaxed with each breath. Once the hedgehog has caught its prey, particularly hard-bodied prey like beetles, it must eat efficiently. Their jaw muscles are specially adapted for this purpose, allowing precise crushing of beetle exoskeletons. Think of the hardness of a beetle's shell, that armor of chitin that protects the soft insect within. The hedgehog's jaws close on this shell, and the muscles apply pressure, carefully calibrated pressure, until the exoskeleton cracks. The hedgehog then extracts the nutritious soft parts inside, the proteins and fats it needs, while discarding the indigestible hard pieces, the fragments of shell that provide no nourishment. This is efficiency in action, taking what is useful and leaving what is not, a small act of precision performed countless times each night. As they eat, hedgehogs are not silent. They grunt and snuffle, small sounds of effort and satisfaction. If you have ever heard a hedgehog feeding in a garden at night, you know these sounds: the busy, wet snuffling, the soft grunts as they work through their meal. These are the sounds of contentment, of focus, of a hedgehog absorbed in the essential act of eating. But they have other sounds as well, sounds that mean something different. When irritated or feeling defensive, a hedgehog will produce louder squeals or hisses. These are warnings, signals that say, "I am uncomfortable, I am afraid, please stay back." The hiss is particularly distinctive, a sharp exhalation that accompanies raised quills and a tightened ball. From gentle snuffling to defensive hissing, the hedgehog speaks through sound, communicating its state of being to the world around it. Your eyelids are so heavy now, perhaps closed already. Your mind is wandering through these images of hedgehogs in the darkness, and that is perfect. Let yourself wander, let yourself drift. You are safe here, learning and releasing, releasing and resting. The hedgehog's lifestyle requires energy, considerable energy. They travel miles each night, they dig, they climb, they search constantly. To fuel this activity, hedgehogs have a high metabolic rate. Their small bodies burn through energy quickly. In the wild, a hedgehog needs to eat about 1/3 of its body weight daily. 1/3. If a hedgehog weighs 600 grams, it must consume roughly 200 grams of food each day. That is a substantial amount for such a small creature. It means that foraging is not optional, not casual. It is essential, urgent, a nightly imperative. The hedgehog must eat, and eat well, to survive. This drive shapes everything about their behavior, their range, their persistence in searching through the darkness. Sometimes, though, a hedgehog finds more food than it can eat in one sitting. And when this happens, some hedgehogs display a behavior that speaks to planning, to anticipation. They occasionally cache excess food, hiding it for later. A snail, too many snails perhaps, and the hedgehog will take one and tuck it under leaves, creating a small hidden store. Later, during lean periods when food is harder to find, the hedgehog may return to these caches, retrieving the stored food and consuming it. This is not instinct alone, but a kind of foresight, a recognition that abundance now may mean scarcity later, and preparation is wise. Not all hedgehogs do this, and not all the time, but its presence in their behavioral repertoire shows a level of complexity we might not expect from such a small, simple-seeming creature. Breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly. You are traveling so peacefully through this knowledge, absorbing it without effort, without strain. Your open mind is a beautiful thing. Let yourself be proud of this moment of calm learning, and let that pride be soft and warm, settling over you like a blanket. Now let us consider something essential to all life: water. Hedgehogs, despite their activity and their metabolic needs, rarely drink free water. You will seldom see a hedgehog at a pond or stream, lapping at the surface. Instead, they get most of their hydration from their prey: juicy insects, earthworms full of moisture, slugs and snails. These provide the water a hedgehog needs. Each beetle consumed, each worm swallowed, carries within it the hydration that keeps the hedgehog alive. In this way, food and water are not separate needs but combined in each meal. The hedgehog's diet naturally provides both energy and moisture, eliminating the need for separate trips to water sources, allowing them to remain hidden in undergrowth and cover rather than venturing to exposed drinking spots. This ability to survive without drinking free water is supported by remarkable physiology. Hedgehog kidneys concentrate urine very efficiently. What does this mean? It means that the kidneys extract as much water as possible from waste before it leaves the body, creating very concentrated urine that contains little water. This allows hedgehogs to survive on minimal water intake, even in relatively arid zones where rainfall is infrequent and water sources are scarce. Every drop of moisture is conserved, recycled within the body, used and reused until it absolutely must be expelled. It is a system of exquisite efficiency, born of evolutionary pressure in environments where water cannot be wasted. You are becoming so deeply relaxed now. Your body knows how to rest and you are allowing it to do so. This is wisdom. This is self-care. Let every muscle soften. Let every breath come easier than the last. Some hedgehog species have taken this water conservation to an extreme level. The long-eared hedgehog, for instance, lives in desert and semi-desert environments. These are places of intense heat, of minimal rainfall, where free water may not exist for miles. And yet, the long-eared hedgehog survives, even thrives, by obtaining moisture solely from food. Not a drop of water passes their lips except what is contained in the insects, lizards, or other prey they consume. Their entire hydration strategy is built around diet, around choosing prey that provides sufficient moisture to sustain them through scorching days and cool nights. It is adaptation at its most impressive, life finding a way in conditions that seem hostile to it. Other desert-dwelling species, like Brandt's hedgehog, have evolved even more specialized strategies. When conditions become truly extreme, during the hottest, driest periods of summer, these hedgehogs enter a state called estivation. It is similar to hibernation but triggered by heat and drought rather than cold. During estivation, Brandt's hedgehog reduces its breathing rate by up to 90%. 90%. Imagine breathing only 1/10 as often as normal. Each breath brings in oxygen but also releases moisture through exhalation. By breathing so much less, the hedgehog minimizes water loss, conserving the precious moisture in its body for as long as possible. In this slowed state, barely breathing, metabolism nearly stopped, the hedgehog waits out the worst of the drought, surviving until conditions improve and it can emerge again to feed and drink from food. It is patience on a biological level, the body itself waiting, enduring, preserving life through stillness. What a journey you have taken tonight. From the hedgehog's diet to their desert survival, you have remained present, attentive in your way, allowing these facts to wash over you. Your mind is so peaceful now, so quiet. This is exactly the state you were seeking. Rest in it. We have discovered that hedgehogs are omnivores but primarily insectivores, feeding on beetles, worms, slugs, snails, and occasionally fruit, eggs, or carrion. We have marveled at their ability to detect earthworms underground through vibrations, a sense beyond our own. We have understood how their jaw muscles allow precise crushing of beetle exoskeletons, extracting nutrients and discarding the rest. We have heard them eating, those grunts and snuffles of contentment, and the louder squeals and hisses that signal distress. We have learned about their high metabolic rate, requiring them to eat 1/3 of their body weight daily, and their occasional practice of caching excess food under leaves for leaner times. We have seen how they rarely drink free water, obtaining hydration from juicy prey instead, supported by kidneys that concentrate urine with remarkable efficiency. We have ventured into the desert with species like the long-eared hedgehog, who obtain moisture solely from food, and Brandt's hedgehog, who reduce their breathing by 90% during estivation to minimize water loss in extreme conditions. The hedgehog, whether in garden or desert, has found ways to nourish itself, to hydrate, to survive against the challenges of environment and climate. The hedgehog feeds, adapts, and endures through vibration and jaw strength, through efficient kidneys and slowed breathing, through flexibility and resilience. They persist. Close your eyes now if they are not already closed. Let the hedgehog's resourcefulness inspire your own rest. You have everything you need in this moment. You are nourished by this peace, hydrated by this calm. Drift now, dear listener. Simply drift. You are still here, floating in this peaceful space between awareness and sleep. Your body knows what it needs, and you are giving yourself this gift of rest and gentle learning. Let us continue now, exploring the hedgehog's remarkable defenses and unexpected abilities. When a hedgehog feels threatened, when danger approaches and retreat is not an option, they employ their most famous defense. They curl into a tight ball. This is not a casual movement, not a gentle folding. It is a deliberate, powerful contraction using strong muscles that run along their body. The hedgehog tucks their vulnerable face inward, pulls their legs up and under, covers their soft belly, and draws everything into a sphere of spines. What was once a recognizable animal becomes a bristling ball, nearly impossible to attack. Every vulnerable part is hidden, protected by thousands of sharp spines pointing outward in all directions. It is a defense both simple and extraordinarily effective. The hedgehog becomes, in essence, untouchable. But there is more to this curling than muscle alone. Beneath their skin, hedgehogs possess a specialized structure called a blood sinus. When the hedgehog is calm, this sinus is relatively empty, unremarkable. But when threatened, when the hedgehog begins to curl, this blood sinus swells with blood. It engorges, filling with fluid, and as it does, it helps lock the spines in place. The spines become more rigid, more firmly held, creating an even more formidable defense. It is a hydraulic system of sorts, using blood pressure to enhance the mechanical structure of their armor. Layer upon layer of defense, muscle, spine, and now blood pressure itself, all working together to keep the hedgehog safe. Nature's engineering at work, invisible to the observer but essential to survival. The way you allow these details to flow through your mind without grasping, without effort, shows such peace and acceptance. Let your jaw relax. Let your shoulders drop. Let yourself settle even more deeply into this moment. Even while curled in a defensive ball, the hedgehog is not entirely passive. They retain the ability to move, to react. A curled hedgehog can lunge or jump short distances, still in their balled form, to startle threats and create distance. Imagine a predator nosing at this ball of spines, trying to find a way in, and suddenly the ball jumps toward them or away. An unexpected movement that surprises and confuses. This dynamic defense can be enough to make a predator think twice, to seek easier prey elsewhere. The hedgehog is not merely hiding. They are actively defending, using movement and surprise as additional tools in their survival toolkit. Even in vulnerability, there is agency, there is action. Now let us consider something perhaps unexpected. Hedgehogs can swim and swim well. Those short legs, so suited to walking through undergrowth, are also capable of paddling through water. When a hedgehog encounters a stream, a pond, an unexpected body of water, they do not panic. They enter the water and paddle, using their strong legs to propel themselves forward. And their spines, those thousands of quills, actually help them float. Air trapped between and within the spines provides buoyancy, keeping the hedgehog at the surface even as they swim. They are not elegant swimmers, perhaps, but they are effective. Water is not an obstacle, but simply another environment to navigate. The hedgehog, it seems, is more versatile than we might assume. Feel how calm your breathing has become, how regular and slow. Your body is finding its rhythm, the rhythm of rest and restoration. You are such a dedicated listener, giving yourself this time of peace. Let that feeling of peace expand now, filling your chest, your limbs, your entire being. Some hedgehog species are not only swimmers but climbers as well. The European hedgehog, for instance, is capable of scaling low walls or even climbing trees. Their strong legs and sharp claws provide grip, and their determination can take them surprisingly high. They might climb to escape predators, to find food in unexpected places, or simply because the route they wish to take goes upward. Picture a hedgehog ascending a rough stone wall, clinging with those claws, pulling themselves up stone by stone, or gripping tree bark and climbing into lower branches. It defies our usual image of the hedgehog as a ground-dwelling creature, but nature is full of such surprises. The hedgehog's abilities extend in multiple dimensions, not just across the ground, but into water and even upward into the vertical world. In the most extreme circumstances, some hedgehog species have evolved even more unusual defensive strategies. The southern white-breasted hedgehog, for example, can tolerate brief submersion underwater to evade terrestrial predators. If pursued by a predator on land, this hedgehog may deliberately submerge itself in water, holding its breath, hiding beneath the surface where the predator cannot easily follow. It is a desperate strategy, surely uncomfortable and risky, but effective when the alternative is capture. The hedgehog stays under as long as it can, then resurfaces when the danger has passed. Survival sometimes requires creativity, requires using the environment in unexpected ways, and the hedgehog has learned to do exactly that. Your mind is so quiet now, so beautifully still. Thoughts come and go like distant clouds, barely noticed, leaving no trace. You are present here with these hedgehogs, learning their secrets, and this presence is a meditation, a form of rest in itself. You are doing exactly what you need to do. Hedgehog species have adapted to many different environments, and these adaptations show in fascinating details. The long-eared hedgehog, living in cold desert nights where temperatures can plummet, has developed a simple but effective strategy for heat retention. They can close their pinnae, their external ear structures, tightly against their heads. By doing so, they minimize heat loss through these large, exposed surfaces. The ears, normally open to catch sounds in the darkness, fold down and close, conserving warmth when survival depends on keeping body heat. It is a small adjustment with significant impact, the difference between comfort and dangerous cold in harsh environments. Other desert-dwelling hedgehogs face a different problem: sand. When burrowing into sand to escape heat or create shelter, sand can infiltrate everywhere, including the delicate ear canals. Some desert hedgehog species have evolved a remarkable solution. They can close their ear canals with earwax. Yes, the same substance that builds up naturally in ears can be intentionally deployed as a seal, blocking sand from entering and damaging the inner ear. This earwax barrier is removed when the hedgehog emerges from the sand, allowing them to hear clearly again. It is adaptability on the smallest scale, using the body's own materials to solve environmental challenges. Every detail of the hedgehog has been shaped by the pressures of survival, refined over countless generations. You are sinking so deeply now, into rest, into peace. Your breathing is barely noticeable, your body perfectly still. This is the state you were seeking, and you have found it. Let yourself enjoy it. Let yourself float in this quiet space. Here is something mysterious, something science has not yet fully explained. Hedgehog spines fluoresce under ultraviolet light. If you were to shine a UV light on a hedgehog in darkness, their spines would glow, emitting an eerie, otherworldly luminescence. Why? Researchers do not know. The purpose of this trait remains unexplained. It may be a byproduct of the keratin structure, something with no particular function, or it may serve a purpose we have not yet discovered, a signal or deterrent visible only in certain light conditions. Nature holds many mysteries, and this is one of them. The hedgehog glows in UV light, beautiful and inexplicable, a reminder that there is still much we do not understand about even familiar creature. Finally, we come to one of the hedgehog's most remarkable traits: their immune system. Hedgehogs have unusually powerful immune systems, far beyond what we might expect. One manifestation of this is their resistance to certain snake venoms. A bite that would kill or seriously harm other animals of similar size may cause the hedgehog little trouble. This resistance allows some hedgehog species to do something extraordinary. They can eat venomous snakes. They will attack, kill, and consume snakes like adders, biting through the snake's defenses, enduring any bites they receive in return, and emerging victorious. The venom does not harm them or harms them minimally, and they gain a substantial meal from a creature that most predators avoid. It is a testament to the hedgehog's resilience, their biological fortitude, their ability to thrive in a dangerous world by being tougher, more resistant, more enduring than they appear. Breathe deeply now, one more time. You have journeyed through defenses and adaptations, through swimming and climbing, through glowing spines and venom resistance. Your mind has remained open, your body relaxed. You are exactly where you should be, drifting peacefully towards sleep. We have seen how hedgehogs curl into tight balls using strong muscles, protecting their vulnerable parts, aided by a specialized blood sinus that swells to lock spines in place. We have discovered they can lunge or jump even while curled, an active defense rather than passive hiding. We have learned that hedgehogs swim well, paddling with strong legs while their spines help them float. Some species climb low walls or trees, and the southern white-breasted hedgehog can even submerge briefly underwater to escape land predators. We have seen how long-eared hedgehogs close their ears against their heads to retain heat in cold desert nights, and how some desert species seal their ear canals with earwax to block sand during burrowing. We have encountered the mystery of fluorescent spines under UV light, a trait whose purpose remains unknown. And we have marveled at the hedgehog's powerful immune system, resistant to certain snake venoms, allowing some species to prey on venomous snakes like adders without harm. The hedgehog defends, adapts, and endures through multiple strategies: physical, physiological, and still mysterious. They are more than they appear, capable of more than we might expect. resilient in ways both visible and hidden. Rest now in the knowledge that you, too, are more resilient than you know. Let the hedgehog's defenses inspire your own sense of safety as you drift into sleep. You are protected. You are safe. You are ready to rest. Your body is so relaxed now, your mind so wonderfully calm. Let us drift deeper still into the hedgehog's world, discovering their curious behaviors and hidden characteristics. First, a delightful detail of language. A group of hedgehogs, when they gather together, is called an array. An array of hedgehogs. The word conjures an image of these small, spined creatures arranged in some pattern, perhaps accidentally meeting in a garden or intentionally gathering during mating season. An array. It is a lovely collective noun, orderly and geometric, for creatures who mostly live solitary lives. But now we come to one of the hedgehog's most peculiar and fascinating behaviors, something called self-anointing. When a hedgehog encounters a new scent, something unfamiliar and interesting, they may engage in this strange ritual. They lick the source of the scent, working it around in their mouth until their saliva becomes frothy, thick with both the new scent and their own secretions. Then, and this is the remarkable part, they contort their bodies to spread this frothy saliva onto their spines. They twist, they bend, they reach backward with their tongues, smearing this mixture deliberately onto the quills that cover their back and sides. It is a bizarre sight if you witness it. The hedgehogs seeming almost to go into a trance, focused entirely on this anointing process, covering themselves with scented foam. During this self-anointing, the hedgehog does not cover all their spines. They contort to reach what they can reach, spreading the frothy saliva only onto specific spines accessible to their flexible bodies. Some spines receive the treatment, others are skipped, left untouched because they are beyond the range of the hedgehog's tongue and neck flexibility. The result is a partial coating, a selective application of scent to the portions of their body they can access. It is not neat, not complete, but it serves whatever purpose drives this behavior. You are so wonderfully present, even as you drift towards sleep. Your ability to absorb these strange facts about hedgehog behavior while remaining so deeply relaxed shows your peaceful, accepting mind. Let your body grow heavier now, sinking into whatever supports you, releasing any last bits of tension. This self-anointing behavior appears in pet hedgehogs as well. When given new foods or exposed to new objects with unfamiliar scents, captive hedgehogs will often engage in the same ritual: licking, frothing, anointing. Why? One theory is that they are attempting to camouflage their own odor. By covering themselves with the scent of something else, something from their environment, they may become less detectable to predators or prey. They blend into the olfactory landscape, so to speak, hiding their hedgehog nests beneath layers of other smells. It is camouflage not of color or pattern, but of scent, a strategy suited to creatures who live in a world of smell more than sight. But there is another aspect to this behavior, something even more intriguing. Hedgehogs seem to exhibit salivary anointing selectively with foul-tasting or toxic substances. When they encounter something noxious, something that tastes terrible or might be poisonous, they may deliberately create a toxic froth and spread it on their spines. This froth then becomes a chemical defense, an additional deterrent to predators. Not only are the spines sharp and painful, but now they may also taste terrible or even cause mild poisoning to any predator that manages to get them in its mouth. It is defense layered upon defense, physical barrier, chemical weapon, all self-applied through this strange anointing ritual. The hedgehog becomes, quite literally, more dangerous through intentional action. Your breathing is so slow and steady now, a perfect rhythm of rest. You have learned so much, absorbed so many unusual facts, and your mind has remained open and curious. What a gift you are giving yourself in this quiet learning. Let yourself feel satisfied, peaceful, grateful for this moment. Hedgehogs are, in their own way, quite clean creatures. During rest periods, when they are not foraging or traveling, they groom their spines meticulously. Using their tongue and saliva, they work through accessible areas, licking and cleaning, removing dirt and parasites that may have accumulated during their nightly travels. This grooming is methodical, purposeful, a maintenance routine that keeps their spines and skin healthy. Parasites like mites or ticks can be problematic for hedgehogs, and this self-grooming helps control infestations, removing unwanted guests before they can establish themselves. The hedgehog's tongue works through spine after spine, cleaning, checking, maintaining the integrity of their most important defense. Beneath those spines, on the hedgehog's flanks, lie scent glands. These glands produce a musky odor, distinctive and individual to each hedgehog. In wild populations, this scent serves a crucial purpose: individual recognition. Hedgehogs can identify one another by smell, can tell if another hedgehog has passed through an area recently, can distinguish between known individuals and strangers. Their world is a landscape of scent markers, invisible to us but vivid to them. Each hedgehog leaves a trace wherever they go, a chemical signature that tells others, "I was here. This is me. This is my territory or my trail." It is communication without sound, without sight, a language of molecules floating on the air and clinging to vegetation. Feel yourself letting go now, releasing any remaining connection to the waking world. You are drifting on these words, on these images of hedgehogs grooming and marking their territories. This is exactly where you are meant to be, in this liminal space between awareness and dreams. The musky odor from these flank glands becomes particularly strong during breeding season. As hedgehogs enter their mating period, the scent production increases, broadcasting a signal to potential mates. "I am here. I am ready. I am available." For male hedgehogs especially, this scent is a calling card, a way to attract females and announce their presence to competitors. The strength of the scent may even indicate health and vitality, serving as a form of quality signaling. In the darkness where hedgehogs live, visual displays are useless. Instead, they court through scent, through sound, through chemical and auditory signals that cross distances and penetrate undergrowth. The musky odor is part of the ancient dance of hedgehog reproduction, essential to the continuation of each generation. Most hedgehogs are solitary creatures, living alone except during brief mating encounters or when mothers care for their young. But some species have developed surprising social behaviors. North African hedgehogs, for instance, use communal latrines near their nests. Multiple hedgehogs will designate a specific area as their shared bathroom, returning to it repeatedly rather than simply eliminating waste wherever they happen to be. This is rare behavior among solitary species, a form of social hygiene that suggests some level of awareness of community, of shared space. Why maintain communal latrines? Perhaps it keeps their nest areas cleaner. Perhaps the concentrated scent serves as a territorial marker. Perhaps it is simply more efficient than spreading waste across their territory. Whatever the reason, it represents cooperation among creatures we often think of as entirely independent and isolated. You are so deeply relaxed now, your muscles loose and soft, your mind quiet and still. The strangeness and wonder of hedgehog behavior has carried you to this peaceful place. Let yourself rest in it. Let yourself simply be without effort, without thought. Each hedgehog, like each human, is unique, and one way this uniqueness manifests is in their spines. Each hedgehog's spines bear unique patterns, variations in color, in banding, in arrangement. These patterns are as individual as fingerprints, no two hedgehogs exactly alike. Researchers can use these spine patterns for identification, photographing, and cataloging individual hedgehogs to track them over time, to study their movements and behaviors, to recognize them when they reappear in study areas. The hedgehog cannot hide its identity, at least not from careful observation. Its spines announce exactly who it is to those who know how to look. And there is one more way to identify and understand individual hedgehogs, though it requires closer examination. Hedgehog jawbones contain structures called annuli, growth rings, similar in concept to tree rings. These annuli form at variable rates during periods of torpor, the slowed metabolic state hedgehogs enter during hibernation or estivation. By examining these rings in a hedgehog's jawbone, researchers can determine the animal's age with considerable precision. Each winter survived, each period of torpor endured, leaves its mark in the bone. The hedgehog's life history is written in these invisible records, available to be read by those with the knowledge and tools to do so. It is aging made visible, time made tangible, the hedgehog's years recorded in calcium and growth. Breathe slowly, in and out, in and out. You have traveled so far tonight, learning so many small wonders. Your dedication to this peaceful exploration is admirable. Let yourself feel complete, satisfied with what you have learned, ready now to release it all and simply rest. We have learned that a group of hedgehogs is called an array, and that these creatures engage in the mysterious behavior of self-anointing, licking new scents into frothy saliva and contorting to spread it on their spines. We have seen how they anoint selectively, reaching only what they can reach, and how pet hedgehogs anoint with new scents possibly to camouflage their odor. We have discovered that hedgehogs may create toxic froth from foul substances for predator deterrence, and that they groom their spines meticulously with tongue and saliva to remove dirt and parasites. We have learned about their flank glands that produce musky odors for individual recognition, odors that intensify during breeding to signal availability to mates. We have encountered the surprising social behavior of North African hedgehogs using communal latrines, rare cooperation among solitary species. We have seen how each hedgehog's spine patterns are unique like fingerprints, and how jawbone annuli formed during torpor serve as precise aging markers in research. The hedgehog anoints, grooms, scents, and marks its existence in the world through chemistry and pattern, through behavior both strange and purposeful. They are identifiable, individual, unique. And so are you. Unique and individual, and exactly as you should be in this moment. Let your eyes remain closed. Let your breathing continue its slow rhythm. Let yourself drift now into the deeper rest you have been seeking. You are ready. You are peaceful. You are released into sleep. You are still here, floating in this space of peace and learning. Your body is so still, your breathing so gentle. Let us continue our journey, exploring now how hedgehogs speak to one another and to the world around them through sound and signal. We have touched briefly on hedgehog sounds before, but now let us listen more deeply. Hedgehogs produce a variety of sounds, a whole vocabulary of expression. There are grunts, those low, throaty utterances we mentioned during feeding. There are snuffles, the wet, busy sounds of a nose working through leaf litter. There are squeals, higher-pitched and more urgent, expressing distress or pain. And there are hisses, sharp exhalations of warning and defense. Through these sounds, hedgehogs communicate their state of being, express agitation or contentment, warn or call, or simply announce their presence. They may be small, but they are not silent. The night is filled with their voices if you know how to listen. These vocalizations extend beyond the basic repertoire we might expect. Hedgehogs communicate through a range of sounds suited to different circumstances and different stages of life. Baby hedgehogs, called hoglets, have their own special sounds. When separated from their mother or feeling distressed, hoglets produce high-pitched chirps, delicate and urgent, calling for maternal attention. These chirps are distinct from adult sounds, higher in frequency, designed to travel through the nest and reach a mother's ears. Picture a tiny hoglet, pink and barely spined, chirping in the darkness of the nest, waiting for the mother to return and provide warmth and milk. It is communication at its most essential. A child calling for its parent, a need expressed through pure sound. You are doing so beautifully. The gentleness with which you receive these images, these sounds in your mind, shows your peaceful and open heart. Let yourself sink even deeper now into comfort, into the soft embrace of rest. Pet hedgehogs, those individuals living in human homes, develop their own ways of communicating with their caretakers. One common sound is what owners call huffing or puffing. When annoyed or uncertain, when they perceive a threat or simply wish to be left alone, pet hedgehogs will huff loudly. The sound resembles a bicycle pump, a rhythmic, forceful exhalation repeated over and over. Huff, huff, huff. It is a warning, a statement. I am not comfortable. Please give me space. Experienced hedgehog owners learn to recognize the sound and respond appropriately, giving the animal time and distance until they calm. It is communication across species, the hedgehog and the human learning each other's signals. Another sound unique to hedgehogs involves not their voice but their spines. When startled, a hedgehog may pop their quills audibly. This is a defensive muscle contraction, sudden and reflexive, that causes the spines to shift and click against one another. The sound is like clicking or popping, surprisingly loud for such small movements. It announces that the hedgehog has detected something alarming, that they are preparing for defense, that their body has gone into alert mode. Even if the hedgehog does not curl into a full ball, this quill popping serves as a warning to predators, to handlers, to anything nearby. The hedgehog's very body becomes a percussion instrument, clicking out a message of alarm. Feel how calm you are becoming, how your thoughts have slowed to barely a whisper. You are absorbing these facts without effort, letting them wash over you like gentle waves. Your mind is quiet, your body at peace. This is exactly right, exactly as it should be. Hoglets, those tiny babies, have powerful voices when they need them. When separated from their mother, their distress squeals can reach up to 80 decibels. To put that in perspective, 80 decibels is about as loud as a garbage disposal or a busy city street. For such small creatures, this is a remarkable volume. And these squeals can be heard over 50 meters away, traveling through the night air or across a garden. This loudness serves a crucial purpose. A hoglet lost or left behind needs to be found quickly, before it grows cold or falls prey to danger. Its loud squeals give the mother a beacon to follow, a sound she can track even from a distance. The volume is born of necessity, of survival, of the urgent need to be reunited with safety. In some species, hedgehogs have developed specialized group communication. Southern African hedgehogs, for instance, use spine-rattling vibrations as an alarm signal during group encounters. When alarmed, they vibrate their spines rapidly, creating a rattling sound and sensation that can alert other nearby hedgehogs. It is a localized alarm system, a warning that something is amiss, The vibration travels through the ground and air, perceptible to other hedgehogs in the vicinity. Though hedgehogs are largely solitary, this behavior suggests that even solitary creatures benefit from warning one another of danger, from sharing information that might keep them all alive. You are such a patient, thoughtful listener. Your willingness to stay present with these details, even as sleep pulls at you, shows such dedication to your own peace and growth. Let your eyelids be heavy. Let your limbs be loose and relaxed. You are safe, you are learning, you are drifting gently toward dreams. Hedgehogs possess an ability that might surprise us. They can sense human emotions. When being handled, hedgehogs tend to pick up on whether their handler is nervous or calm. If you are anxious, your hedgehog will likely become anxious too, more defensive, more likely to huff or curl. But if you are calm, relaxed, confident in your handling, the hedgehog tends to mirror that demeanor. They become calmer themselves, more willing to relax, to uncurl, to explore. This is not telepathy but sensitivity to subtle cues. The tension in your hands, the speed of your breathing, perhaps even the scent of stress hormones in your sweat. Hedgehogs read us in ways we might not realize, and they respond to what they sense. It is a form of emotional attunement, a mirroring that crosses the species boundary. When first bonding with a hedgehog, especially a young or unsocialized one, some individuals exhibit defensive behaviors toward their handlers. They may lunge, a quick forward movement accompanied by raised quills and often a hiss or huff. This lunging is not true aggression but a defensive habit, an attempt to create space or test whether you will back away. Can be startling, but it is not dangerous in the way a bite might be. And importantly, this lunging typically fades with trust. As the hedgehog becomes accustomed to your scent, your touch, your presence, as they learn that you mean no harm, the lunging decreases and eventually stops. Trust is built slowly with hedgehogs, through consistency and gentle handling, and the fading of defensive lunging is one sign that trust is taking root. Your breathing is so slow now, so peaceful. Each breath carries you deeper into rest, deeper into the quiet place you have been seeking. You are doing perfectly, releasing the day, releasing tension, releasing everything but this gentle learning and rest. Hedgehogs in the wild occasionally encounter one another, despite their solitary nature. Sometimes these encounters involve disputes, particularly over territory or mating rights. When two hedgehogs, especially two males, come into conflict, they may lunge at one another. These lunges are similar to the defensive lunges we just discussed, but directed at another hedgehog rather than a perceived threat. The hedgehogs may use their spines as weapons, bumping into each other with raised quills, attempting to jab or hurt the rival. They may also use their teeth, biting if they can get past the other's spines. But interestingly, these encounters rarely escalate into full fights. Most disputes are resolved through display, through lunging and posturing, without serious injury. One hedgehog usually backs down, conceding territory or access, and both animals move on. In fact, hedgehogs generally prefer to avoid conflict altogether. They mark their territories with scent from those flank glands we discussed earlier, creating invisible boundaries that other hedgehogs can detect and respect. When a hedgehog encounters another's scent marker and decides not to challenge it, conflict is avoided entirely. And when encounters do occur, the first response is usually not aggression but display. A hedgehog will huff loudly, raising their spines, making themselves appear larger and more formidable. This huffing display often serves as sufficient deterrent. The other hedgehog recognizes the warning and chooses to retreat rather than engage. Violence is a last resort used only when other signals have failed. In this way, hedgehogs minimize the risk of injury to themselves while still maintaining their territories and access to resources. It is conflict resolution through communication, through scent and sound and display rather than tooth and claw. You have traveled so far tonight, through so many aspects of hedgehog life, from their sounds to their emotions, from hoglet chirps to territorial huffing. You have remained present and receptive. What a gift you have given yourself, this time of peaceful exploration and rest. Let yourself feel complete now, satisfied, ready to release into sleep. We have explored their variety of sounds: grunts, snuffles, squeals, and hisses used to communicate and express agitation. We have heard the high-pitched chirps of hoglets calling for their mothers, and the loud huffing of pet hedgehogs warning off perceived threats, a sound like a bicycle pump. We have listened to the audible popping of quills when hedgehogs are startled, a clicking sound from defensive muscle contractions. We have learned that hoglet distress squeals can reach 80 decibels and carry over 50 meters. We have discovered that southern African hedgehogs use spine-rattling vibrations as alarm signals during group encounters. We have seen how hedgehogs can sense human emotions during handling and tend to mirror the handler's demeanor, becoming calm when we are calm. We have understood that some hedgehogs lunge at handlers initially, a defensive habit that fades as trust develops. We have observed how hedgehogs lunge at rivals during territorial disputes, using spines and teeth but rarely engaging in full fights. And we have learned that hedgehogs mark territories with scent from their glands but prefer to avoid encounters altogether, using huffing displays rather than violence when they do meet. The hedgehog speaks through sound, through scent, through vibration and display. They communicate their needs, their boundaries, their emotions. They are not silent wanderers but active participants in a world of signals and meaning. And now, dear listener, you too can release your need to communicate, to participate. You can simply be, simply rest, simply drift. Close your eyes if they are not already closed. Let the hedgehog's huffing become the rhythm of your breath. Let their squeals and chirps fade into silence. You are ready for sleep. You are peaceful. You are home in this moment of rest. Your body is so relaxed now, your mind floating in that beautiful space between waking and sleeping. Let us continue our gentle exploration, turning now to the hedgehog's life cycle, to courtship and birth and the raising of young. Hedgehogs are, by nature, solitary creatures. They do not live in groups, do not form family units beyond the temporary bond of mother and young. Each hedgehog walks alone through the night, forages alone, sleeps alone in their individual nests. This solitude is broken only during mating season, when the drive to reproduce brings males and females together for brief encounters. Otherwise, they prefer their isolation, their independence, their singular journey through the world. To be a hedgehog is to be self-sufficient, to need no one except in those rare moments when biology demands connection. When mating season arrives, the behavior of hedgehogs changes. Males become seekers, driven to find females and prove themselves worthy of mating. The courtship ritual of hedgehogs is peculiar and persistent. When a male finds a female, he begins to follow her in what is called a circling chase. The female walks in circles and the male follows behind, around and around and around. This is not a brief pursuit. The circling can continue for hours, sometimes through most of the night. The male is relentless, patient, determined, and as he circles, he makes snorting sounds, vocalizations that announce his presence and perhaps his intentions. Snort, 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 the sound punctuating the circular dance. The female leads, the male follows, and the circle continues until the female either accepts or definitively rejects her suitor. Your patience with this slow unfolding of hedgehog life mirrors the hedgehog's own patience in their circling courtship. Let yourself feel that same unhurried persistence in your journey towards sleep. There is no rush, no urgency, only gentle, steady progress toward rest. What is the female looking for in this strange ritual? Interestingly, female hedgehogs select their mates based on circling persistence rather than combat displays. Unlike many animals where males fight for dominance and females choose the winner, female hedgehogs want to know which male has the stamina, the determination, the sheer persistence to follow them for hours. This circling is a test of endurance, of commitment. A male who gives up after a few circles is rejected. A male who continues, who stays with the female through the long hours of the night, proves himself worthy. It is courtship through stubbornness, through the refusal to quit. And the female, at some point, stops walking in circles and allows the mating to occur. The persistent male has won not through violence, but through dedication. When mating is successful, the female's body begins the work of creating new life. After approximately 35 days of gestation, she gives birth to a litter of baby hedgehogs. These babies are called hoglets, a word as adorable as the creatures themselves. A typical litter contains 4 to 7 hoglets, though the number can vary. These hoglets are born in a state of complete helplessness. They are blind, their eyes sealed shut, and will remain so for about 2 weeks. They are pink, their skin bare and vulnerable looking, but they are not entirely defenseless. They are born with soft spines, flexible and white, covering their small bodies. These initial spines will harden soon after birth, but in the first hours, they are gentle, allowing the birth process to occur without injury to the mother. Feel how calm your breathing has become, dear listener, how your body has surrendered to stillness. You are like these newborn hoglets in a way, vulnerable at rest, trusting in the process of restoration that sleep brings. Let yourself be held by this moment, safe and peaceful. The mother hedgehog is protective of her litter. If she senses danger, if the nest is disturbed or threatened, she has a remarkable ability. She can move her hoglets by mouth, gently grasping each baby and carrying it to a safer location. One by one, she transports them, her maternal instinct overriding any inconvenience or risk to herself. This behavior shows planning, care, an understanding that her young are precious and must be protected. A disturbed mother may move her entire litter to a new nest, spending hours in careful transport to ensure their safety. It is devotion in action, the lengths a mother will go to for her offspring. Within the nest, the hoglets have their own instinctive behaviors. When it is time to nurse, they arrange themselves in a remarkable formation. They nurse in a circle around the mother, each hoglet finding a teat and settling in. This circle formation serves a purpose. It minimizes exposure. All the hoglets are close together, in contact with one another and with their mother, creating a warm, compact mass. No hoglet is left exposed or isolated, and what they receive from their mother is remarkable. Hedgehog milk is high in protein, rich and nourishing, perfectly formulated to help these tiny creatures grow rapidly. They suckle eagerly, filling their small bellies, gaining strength and size with each feeding. You are absorbing this knowledge so beautifully, even as your consciousness drifts. Your mind is like the nursing hoglets, taking in nourishment in the form of gentle facts, growing more peaceful and relaxed with each word. Let this continue. Let yourself be fed by this calm, sustained by this peace. The hoglets remain in the nest for 3 to 4 weeks, a period of complete dependency. During this time, they rely entirely on their mother's milk, which is not only high in protein but also rich in fat. This high-fat content is essential for their rapid growth and development. They are building bodies, growing spines, preparing for the life that awaits them outside the nest. Before they can learn to forage, before they can venture into the world, they must develop on the perfect nutrition their mother provides. 3 to 4 weeks of nursing, of growing, of gradual strengthening, all within the safe confines of the nest. From the very beginning, those spines are present, but they undergo a fascinating transformation. The hoglet's initial soft spines emerge from skin pockets shortly after birth. These are not like adult spines, hard and defensive, but flexible and yielding. However, within hours, something remarkable happens. The spines begin to harden. the keratin structure solidifies, and what were soft white needles become firmer, more protective. This hardening happens quickly because the hoglet needs protection from the very start. Even blind and helpless, even in the nest, a hoglet with hardened spines is safer from potential predators or threats. Nature wastes no time in providing defense. Your eyelids are so heavy now, perhaps closed completely. Your muscles have released all tension, your breathing barely noticeable. You are drifting in that perfect state between thought and dream. This is exactly where you should be, exactly the state you have been seeking. Rest here peacefully, knowing you are doing everything right. The number of spines a hoglet is born with is surprisingly small compared to adult hedgehogs. Newborn hoglets have around 150 spines covering their small bodies. Remember that adult hedgehogs have 5,000 to 7,000 spines. This means the hoglet has only about 2 to 3% of their eventual spine count at birth. But this is not a problem, because spines grow in waves throughout the hedgehog's development. Through multiple growth cycles, new spines emerge from the skin, filling in the coverage, increasing the density of protection until the hedgehog reaches adult levels. Each growth cycle adds more spines, more defense, more of the characteristic coat that makes a hedgehog a hedgehog. One of these growth cycles is particularly notable and happens around 3 weeks of age. At this time, hoglets begin a process called quilling. This involves shedding their soft baby spines in waves and replacing them with adult spines. It is similar to how some animals shed baby teeth or baby fur. The soft spines fall out or are pushed out by new, harder spines growing beneath. This process does not happen all at once, but in waves, patches of the body quilling at different times. And this quilling causes temporary irritability in the hoglets. Think about it. Their skin is sore, spines are pushing through, old spines are being shed. It is uncomfortable, itchy, perhaps mildly painful. The hoglets become more defensive during this period, more likely to curl up or huff, less tolerant of handling if they are in human care. It is a difficult but necessary transformation, the shedding of babyhood and the assumption of adult defenses. Breathe deeply now, one slow breath in, one slow breath out. You have journeyed through the entire life cycle of the hedgehog, from solitary adult to persistent courtship, from birth to nursing to quilling. Your mind has held all of this gently, without strain, without effort. What peace you have found in this learning. What rest you have earned. We have learned that hedgehogs are solitary creatures who only interact during mating season, avoiding group living. We have witnessed the male's persistent circling chase of females during courtship, sometimes lasting hours and accompanied by snorting sounds. We have seen how females select mates based on this circling persistence rather than combat displays. We have met the hoglets, born blind and pink with soft spines that harden soon after birth, in litters of 4 to 7 after a 35-day gestation. We have watched the mother move her babies by mouth if the nest is disturbed, and seen the hoglets nurse in a circle formation around her. minimizing exposure while drinking high-protein, high-fat milk. We have learned that hoglets stay in the nest for 3 to 4 weeks before learning to forage, and that their soft spines emerge from skin pockets and harden within hours for protection. We have counted their initial 150 spines, which increase to adult levels through multiple growth cycles. And we have understood quilling, the shedding of soft spines beginning around 3 weeks old, a process that causes temporary irritability as new adult spines emerge. The hedgehog is born vulnerable but quickly protected, nursed in circles and raised in devotion, growing from helpless pink newborn to spined adult through stages of development, both gentle and uncomfortable. Life continues generation after generation through persistence and care. And now you too can continue into the next stage of your night, the stage of deep sleep, of dreams, of restoration. You have learned enough. You have stayed present long enough. It is time now to simply let go. Let your mind go quiet. Let your body go still. Let the hedgehog's journey fade into the background as your own journey into sleep moves to the foreground. You are safe. You are peaceful. You are ready to rest completely. Your body is so beautifully relaxed now. Your breathing slow and rhythmic. Let us drift deeper still, exploring more of the hedgehog's remarkable biology and their ancient place in the natural world. We touched upon quilling in our last segment, that transformation from baby spines to adult ones. But let us understand this process more deeply. Young hedgehogs go through distinct quilling stages, and these can be genuinely painful for the small creatures experiencing them. Imagine your skin, sensitive and tender, with hundreds of spines being pushed out from within while new, harder spines force their way up from below. The skin becomes inflamed, irritated, sometimes even breaking slightly as spines emerge. For the hoglet, this is an uncomfortable period of life. They may become more withdrawn, less playful, more likely to curl into a defensive ball. The pain is temporary, but it is real, and yet they endure it, as all hedgehogs have endured it for millions of years, because the result, those strong, protective adult spines, is essential for survival. But spines are not permanent fixtures, unchanging once they have grown. If a hedgehog loses spines due to injury, perhaps in a confrontation with a predator or an accident, those spines can regrow. New spines are pushed out from the follicles, the same structures from which the original spines grew. This process takes several weeks, a gradual replacement rather than immediate restoration. The hedgehog must manage with reduced protection during this time, but eventually the coverage is restored. The follicle, undamaged, produces a new spine, and the hedgehog is whole again. It is regeneration, healing, the body's remarkable ability to restore what has been lost. You are doing so beautifully. Your dedication to this gentle learning, even as sleep calls to you, shows such peaceful determination. Let your shoulders drop even lower. Let your jaw go completely slack. You are safe here, drifting on these words, held by this moment. In fact, spine growth and replacement is not something that happens only during quilling or after injury. Hedgehog spines grow throughout their entire lives, with new ones continuously replacing those that are shed naturally. This happens at a surprisingly consistent rate, about 250 spines per year per square inch of skin. Think about that for a moment. Every square inch of a hedgehog's spiny back produces and sheds 250 spines annually. It is constant turnover, continuous renewal, the hedgehog's coat perpetually refreshing itself. Old spines are shed, new ones take their place, and the hedgehog maintains its defense without interruption. It is maintenance happening invisibly, constantly, the body managing its own protection without conscious thought. For European hedgehogs specifically, researchers have calculated the total number of spines lost and replaced each year. These hedgehogs lose more than 600 spines annually through natural shedding, all of which are replaced continuously throughout the year. 600 spines. That is more than one per day on average, though the shedding likely happens in small waves rather than one at a time. A European hedgehog's territory might be dotted with shed spines, tiny traces of their passage, evidence of this continuous renewal. And the hedgehog never runs out, never becomes depleted, because the follicles keep producing, keep replacing, keep maintaining the 5,000 to 7,000 spines that cover the adult body. Feel how deeply calm you have become. Your breathing is barely perceptible, your body heavy and still. You are absorbing these facts like gentle rain soaking into soft earth, nourishing something deep within without effort or strain. This is perfect. You are perfect in this moment of rest. Like all creatures, hedgehogs have a lifespan, a natural arc from birth to death. In the wild, hedgehogs can live up to 7 years, though many don't survive that long. Predators take some: foxes, badgers, large birds. Rodents claim many more. Hedgehogs crossing in darkness, unable to move fast enough to escape vehicles. Disease and parasites take their toll as well. The wild is a dangerous place, and reaching 7 years requires luck as well as fitness. But in captivity as pets, hedgehogs often live longer. Protected from predators, safe from rodents, provided with regular food and veterinary care, pet hedgehogs may reach 8, 9, even 10 years of age. They live beyond their wild expectancy, their lives extended by the safety humans provide. It is a trade, perhaps: freedom for longevity, the wild for the safe. Yet even in captivity, even with the best care, hedgehogs can face health challenges. One particularly sad condition is called wobbly hedgehog syndrome. This is a genetic neurodegenerative disease that appears primarily in pet hedgehogs, particularly African pygmy hedgehogs bred in captivity. The disease causes progressive loss of spinal control. It begins subtly: a slight wobble when walking, difficulty with coordination. But it worsens over time. The hedgehog loses the ability to control their back legs, then their front legs. Eventually, they may become paralyzed, unable to move or even eat. There is no cure, no treatment that halts the progression. It is genetic, written into their DNA, a tragic flaw that emerges in some individuals and not others. Owners can only provide comfort and supportive care until the disease progresses too far, and the difficult decision must be made. You carry such compassion to remain present even with difficult information like this. Your open heart, your willingness to acknowledge suffering without turning away, speaks to your gentle strength. Let yourself be soft now. Let any sadness you feel dissolve into the peace that surrounds you. All things pass, including discomfort. Return to your breath, to your stillness. In rare cases, hedgehogs can develop an unusual condition called balloon syndrome. This occurs when skin infections, often bacterial, create gas beneath the hedgehog's skin. The gas accumulates, and the hedgehog begins to swell, their body inflating like a balloon. They become round, distended, sometimes 2 or 3 times their normal size. It looks alarming, almost comical in a disturbing way, but it is quite serious. The hedgehog cannot move properly. Their organs may be compressed, and without treatment, the condition can be fatal. Fortunately, veterinarians can treat balloon syndrome by carefully releasing the gas and treating the underlying infection with antibiotics. The hedgehog deflates gradually, returning to normal size as the infection clears. It is one of nature's stranger afflictions, a reminder that biology can manifest in unexpected and bizarre ways. Let us shift now from the present to the deep past, to the hedgehog's ancient origins. Fossil records show that hedgehogs evolved over 15 million years ago. 15 million years. To put this in perspective, humans as a species emerged only a few 100,000 years ago. Hedgehogs were walking the earth long before us, before so many of the species we think of as familiar. This makes hedgehogs one of the oldest surviving mammal lineages. They have endured through ice ages, through continental drift, through the rise and fall of countless other species. Their basic body plan, their spiny defense, their nocturnal lifestyle, all of this has proved so successful that it has persisted largely unchanged for millions of years. When you see a hedgehog today, you are seeing something ancient, a creature whose ancestors looked very much the same in a world we cannot imagine. What a long journey through time you have taken, from 15 million years ago to this present moment. And in this present moment, you are so peaceful, so wonderfully still. Your mind has traveled through ages while your body rests in perfect calm. This is the gift you are giving yourself: perspective and peace, knowledge and rest, all woven together. Within those 15 million years, hedgehogs have diversified, adapting to different environments across their range. Central African hedgehogs, for instance, have evolved a specific adaptation for their forest habitat. They feature darker dorsal spines, a rich brown or nearly black coloration on the spines that cover their backs. This darker coloring provides camouflage against the forest leaf litter where they forage. Imagine a forest floor, dappled with shadows, covered in brown and black decomposing leaves. A Central African hedgehog moving through this environment, with dark spines matching the leaf litter, becomes nearly invisible. Predators looking down might see only more forest floor, more scattered debris, failing to notice the hedgehog moving quietly through the shadows. It is camouflaged through color, adaptation to a specific environment, evolution fine-tuning survival. Different environments demand different adaptations. Some African hedgehog species, like the white-bellied hedgehog, have developed longer spines than their European cousins. These longer spines are adapted for drier habitats where vegetation is sparser and different predators pose different threats. Longer spines provide more reach, more defensive coverage, making it harder for predators to find a way past them. In open, arid environments where there is less undergrowth to hide in, where encounters might happen in more exposed locations, these longer spines offer enhanced protection, and they are adapted for the specific predators of these regions. Different hunting styles, different approaches require different defenses. The hedgehog's body changes to match the challenges it faces, shaped by the pressures of predation and survival over countless generations. Breathe slowly now, so slowly, in and out, like the gentle tide, like the patient turning of the earth. You have learned so much, absorbed so many details about hedgehog bodies and lives an ancient history. Your mind is full of hedgehog knowledge, and yet it is also empty, quiet, at peace. Both things can be true at once. Hold that paradox as you drift deeper towards sleep. We have explored the painful quilling stages young hedgehogs endure as soft baby spines fall out and are replaced by adult ones. We have learned that lost spines regrow from follicles over several weeks, pushed out by new ones after injury. We have discovered that spines grow throughout a hedgehog's life, continuously replacing shed ones at a rate of about 250 per year per square inch of skin, with European hedgehogs losing more than 600 spines annually. We have understood that wild hedgehogs can live up to 7 years, though many don't due to predators, roads, or disease, while pets often live longer in safety. We have encountered the tragic wobbly hedgehog syndrome, a genetic neurodegenerative disease causing loss of spinal control, and the rare balloon syndrome where skin infections cause dramatic swelling before treatment. We have traveled back 15 million years to the hedgehog's evolution, making them one of the oldest surviving mammal lineages. And we have seen how different species have adapted. Central African hedgehogs with darker dorsal spines camouflaged against forest leaf litter, and African species like the white-bellied with longer spines adapted for drier habitats and different predators. The hedgehog grows, sheds, heals, and endures. Through pain and time, through adaptation and persistence, they continue, ancient and ever-renewing. And you also continue. You persist through your day, you adapt to your challenges, you renew yourself through rest. This is your time of renewal now. Let your mind go completely quiet. Let the hedgehog's 15 million year journey remind you that this single moment, this single night's sleep, is both infinitely small and infinitely important. You are ready now, ready to release, ready to rest, ready to sleep. Let go, dear listener. Simply let go. You are still here, floating in this peaceful space between waking and dreaming. Your body is so deeply relaxed now, your breathing barely a whisper. Let us continue our gentle journey, exploring how hedgehogs survive the extremes of their world. The cold of winter, the heat of summer, the cycles of abundance and scarcity. In colder climates, where winter brings freezing temperatures and food becomes scarce, hedgehogs have evolved a remarkable survival strategy. They hibernate. As autumn fades and the cold settles in, the hedgehog finds a suitable nest, often beneath a pile of leaves or in a sheltered hollow, and they settle in for the long sleep. Their body begins a dramatic transformation. Their heart, which normally beats around 190 times per minute during active life, slows down dramatically. It drops to under 20 beats per minute, 190 to under 20. Imagine your own heart slowing that much, the pulse becoming so faint, so infrequent, barely sustaining life. This is not death, but a different kind of living, a metabolic slowdown so profound that the hedgehog exists in a state between life and suspended animation. But the heart rate can drop even further. In the deepest states of torpor, during the coldest periods of hibernation, a hedgehog's heart may beat only 8 to 10 times per minute. 8 to 10. Count it out in your mind. One beat, wait 6 seconds, another beat. This is among the lowest heart rates of any hibernating mammal. The hedgehog's body is barely functioning, using the absolute minimum energy necessary to maintain life. Brain activity slows, organ function nearly stops. Everything non-essential is shut down. The hedgehog becomes almost like a cold stone, still and silent in the darkness of their winter nest, waiting for warmth to return. You are such a patient listener, staying present even as your own body slows towards sleep. Your heart has found its resting rhythm. You're breathing deep and regular. You are doing so beautifully, allowing yourself to slow down, to rest, to enter your own kind of peaceful dormancy. Let yourself sink deeper now into this gentle state. Even outside of full hibernation, hedgehogs have remarkable control over their body temperature. Their body temperature fluctuates more than most mammals, and it can drop quickly during periods of inactivity to conserve energy. While many mammals maintain a constant core temperature regardless of activity, hedgehogs allow their temperature to drift downward when they are resting, when energy conservation is more important than staying fully warm. This flexibility gives them an advantage. They don't waste precious calories maintaining a high temperature when it's not necessary. When they become active again, their temperature rises, but during rest, during the in-between times, they let it fall. It is metabolic efficiency, the body adapting moment to the hedgehog's needs. Hibernation itself is not one continuous sleep from autumn to spring. Instead, it includes cycles of torpor bouts lasting days to weeks, interrupted by brief arousals. During these arousals, the hedgehog wakes up, sometimes partially, sometimes fully. They may shift position in the nest, may eliminate waste, may even venture out briefly to forage if conditions are mild enough and food is available. These arousals are costly. Warming the body burns through precious fat reserves, but they seem to be necessary for health and survival. Perhaps they prevent muscle atrophy or allow the hedgehog to check conditions and decide whether winter is truly over. After the arousal, the hedgehog settles back into torpor, the heart rate drops again, the temperature falls, and the long, slow sleep continues. Feel how still you have become, how completely your body has settled into rest. You are like the hibernating hedgehog, conserving your energy, allowing yourself to simply be without effort or activity. This is exactly what you need, exactly what your body and mind have been craving. Rest in this knowledge, rest in this peace. When a hedgehog arouses from torpor, the process is surprisingly rapid. Their body temperature, which may have dropped to near freezing levels, can rise back to normal in just minutes. The hedgehog begins to shiver, violent tremors that generate heat through muscle activity. Blood flow increases, the heart rate accelerates, and warmth spreads through the body. What was cold and still becomes warm and alive again in a remarkably short time. This rapid warming is essential. If it took hours, the hedgehog would be vulnerable, unable to respond to threats, burning through energy while still helpless. But by warming quickly, they minimize both danger and energy cost. Within minutes, they can go from near-death stillness to full awareness and activity. This hibernation comes at a cost, though. European hedgehogs, for instance, lose up to 30% of their body weight during their winter sleep. 30%. Imagine losing nearly a third of your weight over several months. The hedgehog relies entirely on fat reserves built up in autumn, consuming their own stored energy slowly over the winter. They go into hibernation plump, round with accumulated fat, and they emerge in spring thin, gaunt, desperately hungry. This is why autumn feeding is so critical for hedgehogs. They must eat voraciously, building up enough fat to sustain them through the entire winter. A hedgehog that enters hibernation too thin may not survive to see spring. Their body will consume all available fat and then begin breaking down muscle and organs, and death will come in the cold darkness of the nest. You are absorbing this knowledge so gently, even these facts about weight loss and survival. Your mind remains calm, undisturbed, processing information without anxiety or tension. This shows such beautiful equanimity, such peace. Let yourself be proud of this calm acceptance, and let that pride be soft and warm, wrapping around you like a blanket. Even pet hedgehogs living in temperature-controlled homes can enter a state called torpor. This is a short-term energy-saving slowdown similar to a mini hibernation that can be triggered on cool days. If a pet hedgehog's environment drops below their comfort zone, They may respond by entering torpor even though they are not facing true winter conditions. Their metabolism slows, their temperature drops, they become lethargic and unresponsive. This can be concerning for owners who don't recognize what is happening, but it is a natural response, an ancient instinct activating even in captivity. The solution is gentle warming, raising the environmental temperature, warming the hedgehogs slowly, allowing them to emerge from torpor safely. It is a reminder that even domesticated hedgehogs carry wild patterns in their bodies, responses shaped by millions of years that cannot be erased by a few generations of captive breeding. Not all hedgehogs face cold winters. Some live in regions where summer, not winter, is the challenging season. Four-toed hedgehogs from sub-Saharan Africa, for instance, use a strategy called summer estivation. This is a dormant state similar to hibernation but triggered by hot, dry periods rather than cold. When temperatures soar and water becomes scarce, when foraging becomes difficult or impossible, the four-toed hedgehog finds a cool shelter and enters estivation. Their metabolism slows, their activity ceases, and they wait out the worst of the heat and drought. But remarkably, these same hedgehogs may also hibernate during cooler months if they live in regions with significant seasonal temperature variation. They have both strategies available, using estivation and hibernation as needed, adapting their dormancy to whatever challenge the season brings. Your breathing is so slow now, so peaceful. You are drifting through these facts about dormancy and survival like a leaf floating on a calm stream. Your mind is so quiet, so wonderfully still. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Just breathe, just listen, just rest. Desert-dwelling hedgehogs face extreme heat during the day, temperatures that would be fatal without protection. Species like the Ethiopian hedgehog have developed effective strategies to cope. They burrow deep into the ground, tunneling down up to 50 centimeters to escape the midday heat. 50 centimeters, that's nearly 2 feet deep. At this depth, the soil is significantly cooler than the surface, insulated from the scorching sun above. The hedgehog curls up in this underground chamber and waits out the heat of the day, emerging only when evening brings cooler temperatures suitable for foraging. This deep burrowing requires effort, requires strong digging ability, but it is the difference between survival and death in environments where surface temperatures can exceed what any mammal can endure. And some hedgehog species are even more ambitious in their construction. They dig extensive burrow systems, not just simple holes but networks of tunnels up to a meter long. These burrows serve multiple purposes: nesting, shelter from weather, protection from predators, temperature regulation. The hedgehog uses powerful front claws to excavate these systems, scraping away soil, pushing it aside, creating chambers and passages beneath the surface. The main nesting chamber is carefully constructed, often lined with leaves and grass for comfort and insulation. Additional tunnels may serve as escape routes or storage areas. These burrow systems represent significant engineering for such small animals, hours of labor creating a safe home beneath the earth. And once established, a good burrow may be used for years, the hedgehog returning to the same familiar tunnels season after season. What a journey you have taken tonight, from the frozen stillness of hibernation to the cool depths of desert burrows. Your mind has traveled through these extreme adaptations while your body has remained perfectly still, perfectly at rest. You are doing so wonderfully, giving yourself this gift of peaceful learning and deep relaxation. Let yourself feel complete now, satisfied, ready to release into full sleep. We have discovered how hedgehogs in colder climates hibernate, slowing their heart rate from 190 to under 20 beats per minute, with the deepest torpor bringing it down to 8 to 10 beats per minute, among the lowest of any hibernating mammal. We have learned that hedgehog body temperature fluctuates more than most mammals, dropping quickly during inactivity to conserve energy even outside full hibernation. We have seen how hibernation includes cycles of torpor bouts lasting days to weeks, interrupted by brief arousals for foraging or maintenance, and how their body temperature rises rapidly from near freezing levels in just minutes during these arousals. We have understood that European hedgehogs lose up to 30% of their body weight during hibernation, relying entirely on fat reserves built up in autumn. We have seen how even pet hedgehogs can enter torpor, a short-term energy-saving slowdown on cool days, and how four-toed hedgehogs from sub-Saharan Africa use both summer estivation during hot, dry periods and winter hibernation as needed. We have explored how desert species like the Ethiopian hedgehog burrow up to 50 centimeters deep to escape midday heat, and how some species dig extensive burrow systems up to a meter long for nesting, using their powerful front claws. The hedgehog slows, sleeps, and shelters. Through hibernation and estivation, through deep burrows and metabolic flexibility, they survive the extremes their environments present. They endure winter's cold and summer's heat, waiting in stillness for the times when life can flourish again. And you are now entering your own time of stillness, your own period of restoration and renewal. Like the hedgehog in hibernation, you are slowing down, letting go, trusting in the natural processes that restore and heal. Your heart beats slowly and steadily. Your body temperature has settled. Your mind is quiet and peaceful. You are ready now to enter the deepest rest. You have learned enough, absorbed enough, stayed present long enough. It is time to sleep. Let the hedgehog's long winter sleep inspire your own deep slumber. Let yourself descend into that peaceful darkness where healing happens, where energy is restored, where the world fades away and there is only rest. Sleep now, dear listener. Simply sleep. You have traveled so far through the world of hedgehogs, and your body is now deeply, deeply relaxed. Your breathing is barely perceptible, your mind floating in that beautiful twilight between awareness and sleep. Let us complete our journey gently, exploring these last aspects of hedgehog life before we release you fully into rest. Hedgehogs possess a natural digging instinct, one that expresses itself from birth. Using their claws, though strong, curved claws on their front feet. They burrow into soil, into leaf litter, into any substrate that yields to their efforts. They dig nests for sleeping, tunnels for shelter, excavations for foraging. When a hedgehog smells prey beneath the surface, they dig without hesitation, scraping away earth to reach the beetle or grub hidden below. When they need shelter, they dig to create it, hollowing out a space beneath vegetation or against a solid surface. This instinct is fundamental to being a hedgehog, as natural as breathing. They are creatures of the earth, connected to the soil, shaped by the need to burrow and dig and tunnel. Even pet hedgehogs in enclosures will dig at blankets, at bedding, at any surface that allows it, expressing an instinct that cannot be suppressed. The modern world has changed the landscapes where hedgehogs live. In fragmented urban habitats, where natural spaces are broken into small patches separated by roads and buildings, hedgehogs must adapt their nesting strategies. They have learned to use dense vegetation, the overgrown corner of a garden, the tangle of brambles at a property edge, the thick growth beneath a hedge. They also utilize artificial shelters, the space beneath garden sheds, gaps in walls, piles of lumber or garden waste left undisturbed. These are not natural nesting sites, but they serve the purpose. The hedgehog, ever adaptable, makes do with what is available, finding safety in these urban fragments, creating homes in the spaces humans have accidentally or intentionally provided. You are doing so beautifully. Your ability to remain present with these hedgehogs, even as sleep calls to you, shows such gentle dedication. Let your whole body be heavy now, sinking into whatever supports you. There is no tension left to release, only this deep, peaceful heaviness. You are exactly where you should be. The story of wild hedgehogs in recent decades is one of both loss and unexpected resilience. In rural areas, hedgehog populations have declined sharply. The primary culprit is pesticides, chemicals used in agriculture that reduce the insect prey hedgehogs depend on. Fewer beetles, fewer caterpillars, fewer grubs. This means fewer hedgehogs, struggling to find enough food to survive and reproduce. The countryside, once rich with hedgehogs, has become quieter, emptier. And yet, something unexpected has happened. Urban gardens, those small patches of green in cities and suburbs, sometimes support stable populations. Where homeowners avoid pesticides, where compost heaps provide beetles and worms, where water features and varied planting create rich ecosystems, hedgehogs persist. In some cases, they thrive. In fact, wild populations in gardens sometimes thrive better than in rural farmlands, a remarkable reversal. The intensively farmed countryside, with its monocultures and chemical applications, has become hostile to hedgehogs. But the patchwork of urban gardens, each with its unique character, collectively creates a habitat where hedgehogs can still find what they need. Gardens with long grass, with log piles, with gaps and fences that allow hedgehogs to move between properties. These become hedgehog sanctuaries, small refuges in the urban landscape. It is a reminder that conservation can happen anywhere, that even small green spaces matter, that the hedgehog's future may depend as much on urban gardeners as on rural land management. Your mind is so wonderfully quiet now, processing these facts about hedgehog survival with such calm acceptance. You understand that life finds a way, that adaptation and resilience are part of nature's wisdom. Let this understanding bring you peace. Let it settle over you like evening mist, cool and soft and gentle. Hedgehogs, despite their spines and defenses, are not immune to parasites. European hedgehogs sometimes carry ticks numbering over 100. 100 ticks, small arachnids buried in the skin between spines, feeding on the hedgehog's blood. It sounds horrifying, and yet the hedgehog often seems unbothered, continuing their nightly routines despite the parasitic burden. And while they may carry many ticks, their skin produces natural oils that deter many other parasites. These oils create an inhospitable environment for certain mites and lice, providing some level of protection. The hedgehog's relationship with parasites is complex. They tolerate some, repel others, and generally manage to survive despite being a host to various unwanted guests. To combat parasites and maintain hygiene, hedgehogs engage in regular self-care. They groom their spines meticulously with tongue and saliva during rest periods. We have mentioned this before, but it bears repeating, for it shows the hedgehog's attention to their own body. During the day, or during breaks in nighttime foraging, the hedgehog settles down and begins to groom. The tongue reaches back, licking accessible spines, working saliva through the quills, removing dirt and checking for parasites. It is methodical work, patient and thorough. The hedgehog cannot reach all their spines, but they clean what they can, maintaining their health through this simple, regular practice. It is self-care in its most basic form, the body tending to itself, keeping itself as clean and healthy as possible. Feel how peaceful you are, how completely you have surrendered to rest. Your body knows how to care for itself while you sleep, how to repair and restore without your conscious effort. Trust in this process, trust in your body's wisdom, just as the hedgehog trusts in its grooming to keep it healthy. Different hedgehog species show different adaptations to their environments. African hedgehogs, such as the four-toed species, often have partially webbed feet. This webbing is subtle, small flaps of skin connecting the toes partway along their length. But this adaptation is specifically suited for digging in sandy soils. The webbing provides more surface area, preventing the foot from sinking too deeply into loose sand, and giving more power to each digging stroke. It is like built-in snowshoes, but for sand. The four-toed hedgehog can excavate burrows efficiently in the sandy soils of their African habitats, creating shelter even in substrate that might seem too loose and unstable. Once again, we see evolution crafting specific solutions to specific challenges. The hedgehog's body shaped by the land it inhabits. Hedgehogs have another subtle but important physical feature related to their spines. They possess a natural forehead furrow, a groove or fold in the skin of their forehead that allows them to raise the spines on their forehead forward when nervous. This prevents the spines from crisscrossing over their eyes, which would impair their already limited vision. When alarmed, the hedgehog can pull the spines on their head down and forward, creating a spiny brow that protects the face while still allowing the eyes to see forward. It is a small detail easily overlooked, but it shows the intricate design of the hedgehog's defensive system. Every spine can be positioned. Every area of the body has its specific response, all coordinated to maximize protection while maintaining necessary function. You are so deeply at peace now, your consciousness barely tethered to these words. You are drifting, floating, held gently by this narrative as it draws to a close. Let yourself drift even further. Let the last threads connecting you to waking life grow thin and loose. Despite having eyes, despite relying on certain visual cues, hedgehogs have limited binocular vision. Their eyes are positioned on the sides of their head, providing wide coverage but poor overlap in the visual fields. This causes poor depth perception. Hedgehogs struggle to judge distances accurately, particularly vertical distances. This limitation leads to occasional mishaps. Wild hedgehogs sometimes misjudge heights. They may step off a ledge thinking it is shorter than it is, or attempt to climb down something and lose their grip. They can fall, sometimes injuring themselves. It is a vulnerability, a consequence of eyes adapted for detecting movement and navigating in low light rather than for precise spatial judgment. The hedgehog compensates with other senses, with whiskers that detect proximity, with careful sniffing and listening. But the visual world remains somewhat mysterious to them, distances uncertain, heights deceptive. And so we come to the end of our journey. Let us paint one final image together, a peaceful scene to carry you into sleep. As the night grows quiet, the hedgehog continues its gentle wandering. The world around it has settled into darkness, the last lights in houses winking out, the streets empty, the gardens still. And through this quiet darkness, the hedgehog moves, guided not by sight but by scent, by sound, by the ancient instincts written into its body over 15 million years. Its nose reads the air, detecting the chemical signatures of beetles and worms, of other hedgehogs, of safety and danger. Its ears catch the smallest sounds, the movement of prey beneath leaves, the distant call of an owl, the rustle of wind through grass. And its instincts guide each step, each decision, each moment of its nighttime existence. The hedgehog does not hurry. It has all night for its journey. It snuffles through undergrowth, pauses to dig at promising scents, moves on when nothing is found. It crosses gardens and paths, slips through gaps and fences, navigates the landscape it has learned and memorized. It is alone but not lonely. It is vulnerable but defended. It is small but resilient. And it continues, as hedgehogs have continued for millions of years, living its quiet life in the darkness while the world sleeps. We have seen the hedgehog's natural digging instinct, using claws to burrow nests and tunnels. We have watched them adapt to fragmented urban habitats, nesting in dense vegetation or artificial shelters. We have understood the sharp decline of rural populations due to pesticides reducing insect prey, while urban gardens sometimes support stable populations that thrive better than those in rural farmlands. We have learned that European hedgehogs can carry over 100 ticks, yet their natural skin oils deter many other parasites, and they maintain hygiene through meticulous grooming with tongue and saliva. We have discovered the partially webbed feet of African hedgehogs like the four-toed species, adapted for digging in sandy soils, and the forehead furrow that allows hedgehogs to raise forehead spines forward without blocking their vision. We have seen how limited binocular vision causes poor depth perception, leading to occasional misjudgment of heights. And we have watched as the night grows quiet and the hedgehog continues its gentle wandering, guided by scent, sound, and instinct through the dark. The hedgehog persists, adapts, and endures, from rural to urban, from ancient past to uncertain future. Through challenges and changes, the hedgehog continues its journey. And now, your journey through Hedgehog Facts has reached its end. You have learned 100 things about these remarkable creatures, absorbing knowledge while relaxing more deeply than perhaps you have in a long time. But the most important journey is just beginning. Your journey into deep, restorative sleep. You have given yourself this gift of peaceful learning, this time of gentle rest. Your body is completely relaxed now, every muscle soft and loose. Your breathing is slow and rhythmic, the breath of deep sleep. Your mind is quiet, thoughts dissolved into peaceful emptiness. There is nothing more you need to know, nothing more you need to do. You have completed your task simply by being here, by listening, by allowing yourself to rest. Like the hedgehog finding its nest at the end of the night, you have arrived at your place of rest. You are safe. You are peaceful. You are ready. Let the image of the hedgehog wandering through the quiet night be the last thought that drifts through your mind. See it moving through the darkness, content and purposeful, at home in the world. And now let even that image fade. Let everything fade. There is only darkness now, only quiet, only rest. Sleep deeply, peacefully, completely. The hedgehog has returned to its nest. And you are home in your own rest. Sleep,